What's up, peeps? I just want to talk to you guys about what's probably my favorite console to play right now, the Nintendo Switch. Now, I should be wearing my little cappy hat, but it's no need for that. So, it's been a little bit over a year since the Nintendo Switch came out, and a lot of people were doubting the Switch. So, what I want to do is I want to have a little discussion, me talking to you, it's not going to be much editing, about this basically a summary of what the year of the Switch was like, the first year of the Nintendo Switch. So first, let's talk about, I guess, why the Switch had to happen. So, the Wii U sold 13.5 million copies in about 5 years. And that was abysmal. That was probably the worst console Nintendo's ever made in terms of sales. In terms of like being an actual console, it wasn't really that bad. But it just wasn't that powerful. Nintendo were kind of feeling themselves a little bit, I guess, and they were like, we can just make anything. They made a console that third-party devs just couldn't really work with, so it didn't have third-party support, and people didn't buy the console enough, and didn't support the first-party titles enough, so it just wasn't, just wasn't much of a console. People aren't going to buy your console for just your games, they want to play other games on it too. And I guess they really took that to heart and they really thought about it, because even now recently you have games like South Park Stick of Truth on Nintendo Switch, you have Crash Bandicoot on the Nintendo Switch, you have other things, but that's skipping a little bit forward too much. That's like today. Actually that was just yesterday. But yeah, so Wii U did horribly, so Nintendo, I guess, were like, yeah, we need to do something right now to really get our name back out there, prove that we're not just falling behind PlayStation and Microsoft, because for the most part Nintendo just weren't even in talks anymore for being a big three company. It's just all about Microsoft and Nintendo. I mean PlayStation, Sony. It's all about PlayStation and Xbox. And I mean that just doesn't happen. Usually Nintendo's always just in the conversation, but after the Wii U was put out, Nintendo were nothing but laughingstock. So they had to hurry up and make a console so they could be back and be front runners like they know they could be again. So that's what the Nintendo Switch was. The Nintendo Switch was another Nintendo original product that is like nothing before, a lot like the Wii that the Nintendo put out, that got a lot of people talking, we got a lot of people buzzing. A hybrid console that you could play at home, you could play docked at home, or you could take it out and play the same exact games on the road. Incredible to think about. Like, it's still surprising today that I can play a console quality Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, anywhere that I want as long as my Nintendo Switch is charged. It's still incredible to think about that today. So that was their plan. We already know that we can make good games, we just need an amazing console to be the foundation for these. So, have your Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch released with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and 1-2 Switch and Bomberman and some other games that I can't really remember right now. So, let's talk about expectations that I had personally. I thought that the Nintendo Switch would do reasonably well. I didn't think it would do 15 million copies or 15 million units in 1 year well, but I thought it would do, well enough that people would respect Nintendo again. What ended up happening though was you have Legend of Zelda, you have ARMS, which did surprisingly well out of nowhere. ARMS did way better than what I thought. So let me throw some numbers at you, right? So Xenoblade Chronicle 2 that came out for the Nintendo Switch, that came out in December, that sold 1 million copies. ARMS sold 2 million copies, that came out around June. 1-2 Switch sold almost 2 million copies, Splatoon 2 sold 5 million copies, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sold 7 million copies, Mario Kart 8 sold 7 million copies, and Mario Odyssey sold 9 million copies since October. So that means those games. So also, I should say this, that Legend of Zelda and Mario Odyssey were two of the most positively reviewed games of all times. They both got almost literally nothing but hundreds, and they were both up for Game of the Year. Game of the Year going to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I kind of called it as soon as I played the game. I was like, this game can do no worse than Game of the Year. So the Nintendo Switch was being kind of carried by its uniqueness and its strong game. These strong games led the Nintendo Switch to sell in 1 year more than the Wii U sold in its entire lifetime. The Wii U sold 13.5 million copies in its lifetime. The Nintendo Switch in 1 year sold 15 million copies, or 15 million units. This came because it was powerful enough to support third-party games like Wolfenstein, like Doom, like Skyrim, like Resident Evil, all games like that, and also had an amazing catalog of first-party games. That, along with the fact that we're still waiting for games like Smash Brothers, what was just announced to come out this year, waiting for a new Metroid, and we're waiting for what will be the first time ever a main series Pokemon game on a console. The console had so much potential that I guess, like looking at it right now, it's no wonder why it's selling so much. It's no wonder why this is like on the road to becoming the best-selling console of all time. Nintendo already had great gaming potential in terms of the games that you can play on the console. All people were complaining about really was the power of the console and the third-party support, which both tied hand in hand together, because the console wasn't powerful enough to support third-party games like Grand Theft Auto and things like that. And Nintendo were also, I mean, it's kind of a gated community in the fact that if your game is a little bit too raunchy, it won't go on the console. So you didn't see, even though games like South Park: The Stick of Truth aren't really that demanding, because it's just so out there, it's just so crazy. I guess Nintendo didn't want it on the console, but they kind of changed their tune a little bit, because now you're seeing games like that on, like South Park Fractured Butthole, that's going to be on the Switch. Also, Nintendo is even working with companies like Ubisoft to create games. They made Mario Rabbids, which is like XCOM, but it was pretty Mario character. Nintendo is pulling out all the stops in order to, or they pulled out all their stops in order to make their console successful in the first year. And it's only going to get better from there. I cannot wait till Nintendo comes out with their new Pokemon and new mature game, and also Bayonetta 3. I also can't wait to see what kind of new IPs Nintendo comes out with. Like, that's really, right now, in the first 2 years, we're already getting all of the, like, you know, the obvious games. We're already getting the Marios, the Legend of Zeldas, the Pokemons, the Metroids. I'm going to assume that there's going to be a Star Fox sometime in 2018 or 2019. But, oh, and Splatoon. Can't forget about Splatoon. Splatoon is one of their more recent incredible games that they've made. But where's the new IPs? I think that they're saving those new IPs for when everyone has a console. So once everyone has a console, you see a new game that you've never seen before that interests you, because you can't really use those type of games to advertise your console, right? You gotta, like, no one's going to buy a Nintendo console for a character that they've never seen before. You want to use the Marios and the Links and the Zeldas and the Captain Falcons and such to bring people in, and then you can introduce them to something they've never seen before later, once they already have your console. So I think that's where Nintendo's gonna go. I think so far their first year selling 15 million units, selling about 50 million units of software, 52 million units to be exact. I think that the Nintendo Switch blew everyone's expectations out of the water, especially people out of Nintendo, because I mean, they just surged right past Microsoft. I'm also hoping that maybe I should do a video on this later, but I'm hoping that Microsoft can pick it up because I don't like seeing a company do poorly. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to hear your opinions on how the Nintendo Switch is done so far in the comment section. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is KingDub7 signing off. Peace.